The Po Delta is an extraordinary natural paradise yet mostly unknown, situated in the northwestern part of the Great Padanian Plain. It's where the waters of the longest Italian river pour into the Adriatic Sea after a long run through the whole northern country from west to east. The longest of the Italian rivers is born on Mount Monviso and, during its course of over 600 kilometers, supplies water and life to one of the most densely populated areas in Europe, the Po Valley.
The waters of the river flow into the sea with a series of ramifications that create the delta. A large area that is always in motion.
As you can see, the surface of the delta area is affected by a progressive expansion, equal to about 60 hectares per year, due to the eastward advance of the mouths of the various branches of the delta. This is due to the progressive deposit of the considerable solid transport of the river on the shallow seabed of the Adriatic, which determines its elevation and therefore the constant extension to the sea of the bed of the various branches. The province that comprehends the delta area is therefore the only province of the Italian territory subject to expansion, with the consequent need to periodically update the statistical data relating to its surface.
This was once one of the poorest Italian and European territories, an area where life has always been difficult, where human beings carried on the battle for daily survival against the overwhelming power of the waters. The terrible flood of 1951 broke the strength of resistance of many. Emigration to distant Brazil and Argentina seemed to be the only option. Since then the dark, for many years, almost to the present day.
In recent years, the delta area has been discovered by nature lovers, by those in search of serenity and solitude, by birdwatchers.
This is an area that offers extraordinary emotions. Breathtaking landscapes, spectacular sunsets, colors and smells. There is no glamour, there is no jet set, no fireworks and parties are organized. The greatest show here is offered by Mother Nature. The Po Delta is the most important Italian area and one of the most important in Europe for the conservation of birds. This extraordinary value is due to the great environmental complexity, which supports many different species of birds in the various stages of their life cycle: nesting, migration, wintering. In the last 50 years, just under 350 species have been observed, of which nearly 300 are regularly present at different times of the year. There are about 150 nesting species, over 170 regularly wintering ones. At its eastern end, the delta meets the Adriatic Sea. Here the sand carried by the great river creates extraordinary beaches, even several kilometers long. Beaches that are often islands, reachable only by boat. Wild beaches away from noise, traffic and crowds. In the midst of all these expanses of water, the most typical activity is clearly that of fishing and shellfish farming. Particularly active at the port of Pila for fishing and the Sacca di Scardivari for mussel farming. The delta oyster, which is abundant here, is particularly exquisite. For those who are also looking for a bit of history and culture, the delta offers some interesting options. At the southern end, located in a lagoon almost like a small Venice, is Comacchio, an excellent opportunity for a walk along the canals and to taste eel-based dishes, the local specialty. The Benedictine Abbey of Pomposa, dating back to the 9th century, is one of the best examples of architecture of this kind in all of northern Italy. It is located beyond the Messola wood not far from Goro, in the province of Ferrara. On the way back, in Fratta Polesine, a few kilometers from the Po Delta, there are some famous Palladian villas which are well worth a visit. These are Villa Badua and Villa Grumani Mo Lin.